Wanted to tell you my experience about being upriver. Of course, both my boys are gone, that I had for 8 and 12 years nearly. But they were still alive with me when this happened. It happened just a couple of days after Labor Day in 2020, right before my mother passed away. We took the boat, we went up the river, 4 or 5 bends, up to find our little sandy spot that I've been going and, taking my kids to for 30 plus years and never had any incidents up there. We used to go up there camping and just, of course, I only go up for day trips now, half-day trips, since I live out this way towards the river. As the crow flies, it's only about 8 miles from where I'm living. But we were there this particular day, loaded the boys up in the boat after putting it in the water, came up to our little sandy beach area. We got out of the boat, got our lawn chair. I set my lawn chair up, put my little umbrella, sun shield up, and we were there maybe 30 or 40 minutes or so when I started feeling like I was being watched. Hair standing up on the back of my neck. Every hair on my body just was standing on end. And it was coming from behind me in the wooded area, because the river was in front of us, so where I'd set my chair and my umbrella up. And my dogs alerted me that there's something in there. And at first, they went on guard and was being protective. Zeus, my German Shepherd, got between me and the woods. All the hackles and hair standing up on his neck and his, head down, growling, towards the woods. And then, I don't know what happened to him, but he tucked his tail between his legs, all his hackles went down, and he ran and jumped in the boat and was cowering in the front, bow of the boat. Well, at that point, I knew something was going on, and I got up out of my chair and I walked to where Zeus had been standing between me and the woods. And Maxwell, my recent boy that just passed away, that's buried back here beside his brother, he got between me and the woods. And he was part wolf. And he wasn't a barker per se, but all the hackles was standing up on him, and he was on full alert. And in just a few moments of him between me and the woods acting that way, why, he tucks his tail between his legs and goes and gets in the boat beside his brother. And at that point, I'm going, okay, I need to be able to be in protection mode. Was feeling very apprehensive and uneasy. I turned, I walked around into the water to the end of the boat, opened my 5-gallon bucket that I had my towels and my weapon and everything in, and I got out my 1911. For those of you that don't know, a 1911 is .45 caliber. I put one in the chamber, and I'm standing there holding it beside my hands, and I'm looking into the woods. You can see approximately like 10 feet into the woods, and I never saw anything I saw this like hazy, sort of foggy looking, cloudy area that came up in there. But as far as seeing anybody or anything, I didn't see. But when the foggy area came up in there, I decided, because I was just so in the mode, we needed to leave. And so I start telling the boys, and these are dogs that I've trained, and they were voice command animals, service dogs, both of them. And they would do anything that I would say. And I'm saying, out of the boat, boys, come on, out, you know. And they're just laying cowering in the bottom of the boat. You know, they were just, and that really disturbed me. And I couldn't get them to get out of the boat no matter what I said or how I coaxed them. And the cloud in the wooded area, it was a little further than 10 feet in where the woods started getting pretty thick. And at that point, I just, you know, I said, I held my gun out, you know, and I said, all right, I know you're in there. I don't want to hurt you, and we don't want to be hurt either. So you need to let us leave. We just need to leave. And I'm trying to get the boys to get out of the boat. I walk up there, try to pull them out of the boat. They're not getting out of the boat. I can't get them to get out of the boat. And at that point in time, a beautiful sunny day went away. And I checked the weather before I go out there. There was no rain in the forecast, no bad weather, you know, anywhere. And I walked back to the back of the boat, and I'm trying to pull the boat, you know, off the sandy beach. And the boys, both, one of them's 130 pounds, the other one was 120 pounds. They were cowering in the bow of the boat, and I'm just not, with holding my 45 in one hand, yet the woods, and trying to pull the boat, you know, back into the water so that we could leave. It just wasn't working out for me. I didn't have the strength to pull the boat, you know, into the water. So I said, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, protect us from evil. Ooh, look at the chill bumps coming up on my arms just telling you this story. When I said that, my boys got up, jumped out. Look at the chill bumps. My boys got up and jumped out of the boat, and I was able to pull the boat into the water. I pulled the boat into the water, ran around, grabbed my lawn chair, my umbrella, chunked them into the boat, and I have a little trolling motor that I put on my boat to go upriver, and the sun had gone away at this point, and it was clouded up, and it was starting to get dark at this point, which was really freaky to me. And I hollered, "Load up, boys!" And I mean, I didn't have to say it but one time, and they come bounding in, jumped through the water and jumped up into the boat. I jumped in the boat. I started that trolling motor, and we started headed down river. And at that point in time, it started thundering and lightning and crashing, and the rains started coming down so hard that I could not see the bank on each side of the river. And whatever that was that came upon us while I had my back turned to the woods, I could feel it following us. And we were like 6 bends up the river, back towards the boat ramp as we were going downstream, and the rains came down so hard, the water was filling up in my boat, and I'm trying to make it around all these logs and bends, and it was a pretty hazardous, but because it was raining so hard, and obviously the river started moving a whole lot faster, and I mean, we were swiftly zooming around the bends and crashing. The boat was bouncing off of logs in the curbs and stuff, because it was raining so hard I couldn't see the sides. But whatever it was, I could feel it still watching us, and it followed us down the bank until I got about 1 bend from the bridge that came over the river just before you get to the boat launch. And when I'm zooming down that last straightaway, that only then, whew, look at the chill bumps, only then is when I felt that thing not following us and watching us. And at that point, I could see the bridge, and there was another bass boat with some people in it, tied up, out of the rain. Hey, Kitty Fleur. They were tied up underneath the bridge there, and so here I come zooming, you know, and I hit my trolling motor into reverse, but the current of the river and the rain that had come so hard, it was filling my boat up. I'm sitting pretty low in the water at that point. And we come zooming up, and the one guy stood up on the edge of that bass boat, and he hollered, "Throw me your bow line." Well, I have a bow line, which I couldn't get to because my boys were up there, and I'm in the back of the boat where the motor is. I also have a stern line, and I grabbed my stern line, and I turned the boat to where, the water pressure pushed me out into the bad rain again. But I was able to, you know, and as I'm against the current and I'm coming back up, I'm, you know, slow. It's a lot slower. It slowed me way down, you know. And I was able to toss my bow line to that guy. Or my stern line. He grabbed my stern line and starts pulling me. Well, that swung my boat around to where he, you know, the water's rushing up over the stern there, and as he's pulling me back up underneath the bridge. And I thought, my God, we're fixing to sink, because the water's pretty deep right there underneath that bridge. And so, you know, when he got to me, he grabbed my boat and he starts pulling me around until I was, you know, parallel with their boat. And then I had a cup that had my drink in it, and I dumped that out, and I started heaving water and pouring it out of the boat. And it took about 10 to 15 minutes. I sat there, you know, tied up to those people, and there were 2 girls and 2 guys in that boat. And we chatted for a little while, and the guy says to me, "Are you okay, ma'am?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Because you're pale as a sheet, you know." And I said, "I'm not surprised. We kind of had a hairy situation up the river." And he said, "Yeah, I know what you mean," even though I didn't explain to him, you know, what I was talking about. But 10 or 15 minutes later, the rains quit coming down. The sun came back out. It got extremely hot and humid. And I said, "Okay, well, I'm fixing to get out, you know." And he said, "You're not going back up the river?" I said, "No, not today, you know." And as a matter of fact, that was a couple of days after Labor Day in September of 2020. And y'all, I hadn't been back to the river since then, and I hate it. But, you know, I'm just recently thinking about, I've ordered me a puppy. I've got me a standard poodle puppy on the way. I've got to go pick it up in about 2 weeks. It'll be ready to go home. So I got me a new, you know, little buddy coming up that I'm going to train and register him as a service dog. And his name is going to be Oliver. They brought the puppies out to see me last weekend, and I sat down on the grass in the front yard and interacted with all the puppies. And this one little puppy with the blue collar on, and that really is kind of strange because Maxwell's collar was blue. This little puppy, even though they all interacted with me somewhat, you know, this one little puppy would come up and he would put his paw on me. You know, I petted him, and then when I was talking to the people that brought him, you know, for me to look at him, he didn't like me not paying attention to him, and he would come around behind me and butt me with his head, and he would come around and climb up in my lap and give me his little puppy breath in my face and lick me and chew on my fingers and hands, and it's hey, put his paw on me, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. Finally, you know, I told him, I said, "I think I've been picked by this one, so I'm going to get this one." And the man says, "Well, what are you going to name him?" And I said, "Well, I've got some names I wrote down on, you know, a list." And I said, so I called out a few of those names, and that puppy was pretty oblivious to all of them. But when I said Oliver, that puppy stopped, looked up at me, and barked. And not only that, but the man said, "Well, I think he likes that name." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I like the name Oliver." And when that man said Oliver, the puppy looked at him and barked. And I said, "So you want to be called Ollie for short?" And he was all climbed up in my lap and was being all lovey-dovey. So got me a new little buddy coming, and y'all will get to meet him soon. But that's my story from Escatawpa River, and that happened a couple of days after Labor Day in 2020. And I'm going to try to get my boat sitting in that pole barn back there. I don't know if y'all can see it. I'll try to scan the camera around here. That big pole barn back there with the star on the top of it's where I got my boat parked, past the garden there. And I hope my microphone's working good so I don't have to do a retake on this video. And my cat had to get in on the picture. Her name is Fleur de Lis, and I call her Kitty Fleur for short. Yeah. So, y'all, thank you for watching my video. Please hit like, share, and subscribe. People need to know about all these things that are going on. And the more people that know, the better off the world's going to be. If you like my video, give me the thumbs up. And this is Tucker Trucker. If you have a story you want me to read, email it to me at tuckertruckerpatriot@yahoo.com, and I'll read your story for you. I've got another update from the fella in North Alabama. Actually, we even talked on the phone, and he's told me that he wouldn't mind if I wanted to do, an interview on Skype or something like that. So I can read some of his emails some more, or we can even go in and do an interview. So I got that coming soon. Y'all, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.